A judge sends Mike Tyson to prison. The boxer insists he's innocent. A Pentagon plan could cost tens of thousands of weekend warriors their jobs. And Speaker Tom Foley is under fire after a series of scandals in the House. This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening. I'm Connie Chung, in tonight for Dan Rather. Mike Tyson is in prison tonight. The former heavyweight boxing champion was sentenced today to 6 years for raping a beauty pageant contestant. Tyson still insists he didn't hurt anyone. The judge told Tyson something needs to be done about his attitude. From Indianapolis, Bob Faw has our report.
Today, Mike Tyson, convicted felon, was finally treated like one. Patted down, fingerprinted, humiliated like any other jailbird. You've been given many gifts. You're to be commended for rising above your circumstances, Judge Patricia Gifford told him. But she fined him $30,000 and sentenced him to 10 years, suspending 4 of them, adding, "I'm honestly of the opinion you're capable of raping again." Saying he expected the worst, insisting he would not beg, Tyson apologized in court to the media and to his friends, even conceded his behavior was crass. But he denied he had committed rape. "I'm not guilty of this crime. I did not hurt anyone. There were no black eyes, no broken bones," he argued.
I think he's really ambivalent about the connection between his behavior and his responsibilities under the law, like the rest of everybody.
Asking for a suspended sentence and parole, defense lawyer Vincent Fuller called Tyson thoughtful, sensitive, but deprived of nurturing as a young man. He needs therapy, Fuller told the court. In prison, where he'd be a marked man, rehabilitation wasn't likely. But prosecutor Jeffrey Modisette countered that anything less than jail would diminish what Tyson had done, adding, "This defendant still doesn't get it." His rise from obscurity will not erase victim Desiree Washington's nightmares, said Modisette. Tyson hurt her physically, mentally, permanently. Modisette reading then from Washington's letter to the court, quote, "In the place of what has been me is a cold and empty feeling."
She was very disappointed, I think, that there was absolutely no real regret or remorse expressed about what he did to her.
As the woman who helped raise him collapsed in tears, and his irrepressible manager Don King was tight-lipped, Tyson's new attorney Alan Dershowitz raced off to Indiana's Court of Appeals, where tomorrow he will argue that Tyson should be released on bail.
In 28 years of arguing appeals, this is as strong an appeal as I have ever argued.
Tyson couldn't show remorse because he doesn't think he's guilty, and he isn't, said Dershowitz. But pending a reversal, the ex-champ, who prosecutors say felt he could take whatever he wanted, won't even be eligible for parole until 1995. Bob Fall, CBS News, Indianapolis.
With America's full-time military forces dwindling by the day, the Pentagon is turning its budget axe on the part-timers. It called today for sharp nationwide cuts in the ranks of the reserves and National Guard. But as Pentagon correspondent David Martin reports, getting Congress to salute won't be easy.
The harsh reality of peace descended on all 50 states today as the Pentagon announced plans to reduce or eliminate 840 National Guard and Reserve units nationwide. For some 140,000 weekend warriors, that would mean the end of a second paycheck which supplemented their civilian income.
They're all scared for their jobs. They're concerned about how they're going to feed their families.
We just bought a house, and it's going to make it interesting trying to make ends meet.
These are some of the same units which helped win Desert Storm. But with both the Gulf War and the Cold War now over, the Pentagon plans to reduce its active duty forces by 500,000 men and women, and take a corresponding cut out of the reserve units that back them up.
If you don't need it in the active, and there's no mission for it in the reserves, give the money back to the taxpayers.
But with 5,000 Guard and Reserve units located in virtually every congressional district in the country, members of Congress quickly rushed to claim the cuts would devastate local communities.
A local armory of 150 persons has a payroll of about $2 million a year. And as we are in this recession, by closing over 800 armories around the country, you're certainly not helping us get out of the recession.
We're not a social welfare agency. We're not an employment agency. We're not an agency that's operated on the basis of what makes sense for some member of Congress concerned back home in the district.
Secretary Cheney says the proposed cuts would save $20 billion over 6 years. But if past attempts to cut the reserves are any guide, he'll be lucky if Congress gives him half of that. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
House Republicans trying to capitalize on the Capitol Hill scandals launched a new video offensive today against the other side of the aisle. At the center of the storm is Speaker Thomas Foley. Our chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer has the story.
The House will be in order.
Foley himself was as unflappable as ever when he called the House into session today, but the House banking scandal storm has grown so severe, a growing number of Democrats fear it could cost him his job.
Just today I went to a committee meeting where at least two of the committee members made a remark to me, who do you think should be our next speaker?
Foley has taken a public beating over his handling of the rubber check scandal and charges that congressional employees dealt drugs and embezzled money at the House Post Office. His wife, Heather, who serves as his unpaid chief aide, has been questioned by a federal grand jury investigating the post office. She's not the target of an investigation, but the continuing stream of bad news has left Democrats openly talking about a change at the top.
Either the speaker better stop the bleeding and hemorrhaging, or we got to figure out something else to do.
Well, I mean, you're clearly saying that he's not providing the leadership that's needed right now.
Well, this whole place is tied in knots. There's absolutely no question that we're not getting the strong leadership that we really need over here.
Thousands of checks bounced by congressmen.
Today, the embattled leader of the House Democrats found himself in yet another uncomfortable spot, the star role in a new Republican TV commercial.
Democrat leaders who first tried to cover up the scandal now brush it aside.
I regret that I wasn't more energetic.
For real change in Washington, bounce the Democrats.
As yet, there is no organized movement to topple Foley, but a score of Democrats told us privately today that unless the House gets back on track soon, it will be difficult for him to survive much more bad news. Bob Schieffer, CBS News at the Capitol.
Former Democratic presidential candidate Tom Harkin threw his support to Bill Clinton today. Harkin said Clinton has the best chance of beating President Bush. The president got his annual medical checkup today. 4 non-cancerous growths were removed from his face. Other than that, Mr. Bush says he's in perfect health. His doctor says the president's heart is fine, and an earlier diagnosis of glaucoma in his left eye turned out to be incorrect. He doesn't have the disease. The doctor is recommending that Mr. Bush take more time off. Still to come on the CBS Evening News, Libya pleads with the World Court to protect 2 terrorist suspects. And a Florida couple asks a judge to declare their dying baby dead.
People who hurt from arthritis are discovering a safer aspirin, Ecotrin.
On a bad day, I can take up to 8 and not be concerned about irritating my stomach.
It's the orange coating that makes it safer.
Plain and buffered aspirin dissolves in the stomach where aspirin can cause damage. But Ecotrin's safety coating helps protect your stomach from aspirin's damage.
So I'm not worried taking the maximum dose.
Every 6 hours. Pow, pow.
For minor arthritis pain, the safer aspirin is Ecotrin. And that's the truth.
Which plant food is best for you?
I get fantastic results with Miracle-Gro.
Miracle-Gro proved one thing to me. When you use a better plant food, you get better flowers.
Miracle-Gro has got them all beat.
You'll get more flowers and more vegetables when you use Miracle-Gro.
I'm alive. William Hines. I'm alive. Michael Hines.
For a free list of cars with airbags, see your Allstate agent.
Libya pleaded with the World Court for protection today as the United States and its allies turned up the pressure on Muammar Gaddafi. They're trying to force him to hand over the 2 suspected terrorists charged in the bombing of Pan Am 103. Bill McLaughlin reports from The Hague.
This is a last-ditch Libyan effort to avoid severe diplomatic punishment and perhaps a lot worse. Libya is asking the International Court of Justice to order the U.S. and Great Britain to stop threatening Colonel Gaddafi's regime. Washington and London are demanding that Libya hand over these 2 men. They insist there's hard evidence that the 2 are Libyan intelligence agents directly involved in the downing of Pan Am 103. 270 people died in the Lockerbie tragedy. Libya's representative at the court said his country was the innocent victim of illegal blackmail.
Libya persists in solemnly declaring that it is not responsible for the hideous crimes
Gaddafi is stalling not only because he fears his agents would be convicted of the Lockerbie bombing, but also because a fair trial would expose Libya's extensive links with international terrorism. CBS News has discovered another link in the terrorist network. This grueling motor race across Africa used to be the Paris-Algeria-Dakar rally. This year it went to Cape Town via Libya thanks to this man, one of the Libyan agents the U.S. is trying to extradite for the Pan Am bombing. Sources say these documents show that senior Libyan agent Abdelasset Ali Megrahi used the cover of a travel promotion agency, MedTour, to set up safe houses and bank accounts in Europe while working out the details of the car rally. While doing that, the sources say, he secretly helped organize terrorist operations. The U.S. and Britain say the Libyans must be stopped. The first step may come tomorrow. The UN Security Council is expected to impose economic and diplomatic sanctions on Libya. And diplomatic sources say the next step could well be military. Bill McLaughlin, CBS News, The Hague.
Remains believed to be those of 4 missing journalists were flown from Cambodia to Hawaii today for positive identification. The men were working for CBS and NBC when they were captured 22 years ago in the killing fields of Cambodia. Villagers said they were beaten to death by the Khmer Rouge guerrillas. U.S. and Cambodian teams uncovered the remains this month after a 2-week search. Rockwell International agreed today to pay a fine of $18.5 million for discharging hazardous waste from a nuclear weapons plant. Some of it wound up in reservoirs near the Rocky Flats plant in Colorado. The fine against Rockwell would be the second largest to date for crimes against the environment, right behind the $100 million paid by Exxon for the Valdez oil spill in Alaska. Coming up next, the Money Crunch. Tonight, how to get Uncle Sam to help underwrite your search for a job.
Some days my minor arthritis acts up, and I really feel the pain. I used to take aspirin. Now I've switched to Advil. Advil relieves the pain in my stiff joints. In fact, 1 Advil is as effective as 2 regular aspirin. And Advil is gentler to my stomach. Maybe that's why doctors recommend Advil for minor arthritis pain more than any other brand. For my pain, I simply prefer Advil. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Oh, now this is a rip-roaring combination. I mean, flakes with flakes. Pretty imaginative. I mean, you'd never sell me on something like this. I don't buy flakes. I date them sometimes, but I don't want to go into that. Now, I thought I'd be bored silly by these, but they're simple and crunchy. Actually, I think you got something here.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes? Wow.
Taste them again for the first time.
Fingerman here for the one and only Ziploc. Something fishy going on in your refrigerator? Nothing works like Ziploc brand storage bags. Ziploc has the Gripper Zipper, the only bag with tough, tiny teeth. You can feel it gripping, so you know freshness is locked in, odor is locked out. That's a good feeling you only get from Ziploc. Sorry I had to point fingers there, fella. For fresh food, there's only one, Ziploc.
Now it's Sweet 16. March Madness continues with a round of 16 featuring defending national champion Duke. Primetime tonight on CBS.
The government says another 447,000 Americans joined the line for unemployment benefits in the latest reporting week. That's 15,000 more than the week before. If you are out of a job, the last thing you need is a big tax bill. What you really need is to put the tax code to work for you. Correspondent Ray Brady has some tips on how to do that in tonight's report on the Money Crunch.
How are we supposed to pay those taxes?
They're jobless, and they now know that just because you're down and out doesn't mean you're off the hook. You've got to pay taxes on that unemployment check.
Stop taxing our unemployment benefits!
That's the taxing dilemma facing unemployed executive Herb Stickler. How to pay up when barely any money's coming in.
I can't believe this. Now, this time, when I'm not working, I've got a $1,200 tax bill to pay.
Herb didn't have many job search deductions, so he was hit hard with taxes. But you can save when you're out of work. Just listen to Marvin Pedowitz, also unemployed.
I ended up paying practically nothing on my taxes. I'd say that I would save a good $3,000 to $4,000.
In taxes?
In taxes.
Marvin had plenty of job search expenses. He takes a business approach to taxes and job hunting.
I spent $9.75 for a train fare. I had to park by a meter. It's 25 cents an hour. I had $3 in cab fare. Telephone calls, resume writing, paper, dinners. So all this is deductible, and people don't realize that could run up to thousands of dollars. Even though I'm unemployed, I consider myself a business, because my job now is to go out and look for work.
So Pedowitz keeps a meticulous diary of every penny he spends on the job hunt. You can deduct costs only if you're seeking employment in the same trade or business you worked in. Example, if accountant Marvin Pedowitz looks for work as a deep-sea diver, no deduction.
From the day you're unemployed, you start keeping receipts and writing down everything you've done.
You can deduct any job search expenses that exceed 2% of your adjusted gross income. Case in point, between unemployment compensation and a little freelance work, Marvin Pedowitz made around $20,000. That means he could deduct any expenses over $400. If you want to stay off these unemployment lines and you've got to move out of town to get or keep a job, that's deductible. So is any clothing you may have to buy for a job. Above all, though, learn those no job, no tax rules. As these folks will tell you, when you're out of work, that's no time to help support Uncle Sam.
Stop taxing unemployment benefits. How are we supposed to...
Ray Brady, CBS News, The Money Crunch.
There's more CBS News ahead, including Eye on America. Tonight, the jobs Americans are losing and who's finding them.